Sweet, dang it. Sweet. Welcome back to Against the Iron Storm with Dread Canary. I am Dread Canary. The game is Against the Storm, and we continue our Iron Run, where if I lose a match, I have to delete my saved progress and start over from the tutorial and see how far we can get playing every difficulty level twice. Now, as you can see, we have 0 games lost and 22 games won. And since we're playing every level twice, that means it's time to increase the difficulty. So let's go out to our overworld map. Pick a likely spot. No resources destroyed. Ooh, no, that's... Only dangerous glades. Well, I love that modifier, and I'm feeling... Well, let's just go for some classic royal woodlands out here. Of course, we have to go up to Prestige 7, which is going to increase it so that villagers now consume more luxury goods when they consume luxury goods. And you know what? I'm feeling a bit indulgent, so we're going to get my favorite species, the beavers. And let's take a look, shall we? I'm thinking on the royal woodlands, I would love a small farm, but 5 is really expensive. 3 oil and 3... Maybe 4 parts? Yeah. Yeah, let's do 4 parts, and I think roots and eggs. And we shall name ourselves something like escucha, except we're not going to spell it like the Spanish word. I've been watching a show in Spanish for the last couple of days, and it is brushing off the Spanish that I was really good at in high school and haven't touched in 20 years. But, you know, that's how things go. So, just slowly re-picking up these old language skills. Let's see here. So, our first mystery is lightweight wood. Woodcutters can carry more during the drizzle. Very good for productivity. Okay, we've got our usual debuff there. Don't open glades during storm, or we will have massive resolve debuffs. No good there. Housing, or we'll have slow movement. Not really a problem. Resources we sacrifice burn faster. That means sacrificing is going to be difficult, if not impossible to do. And if we get all the way to hostility 5, then we're going to have a whopping minus 20 to global resolve. And that is, of course, on top of all of our usual things that we have just for being in the royal woodlands. That's these first 2, and then every prestige modifier gets added on. So as you can see, this just gets harder and harder and harder the higher up in difficulty we go. Now I'm noticing that for some reason my microphone seems to be off a little bit. Let's go ahead and change our ratio just a bit there to make sure you can hear me over the music. Okay. Let's see if that's working. That should be working just fine. No, that's too much. Adjusting our sliders. Let's do that. I think that should work. Yeah. Yeah, that should work to keep me over the sound of it. Okay. Sorry about that. Just doing a little sound mixing. OBS, which is a common program for intro streamers. Anyway, OBS was having an update that threw off some of my settings. Now, of course, we're going to go ahead and grab our woodcutters camps. I think there should work. And we'll just go here as well. On here, we can get those nice walls that I like. So we're going to say only marked trees. And I held down shift while doing that to make sure it applied across everything. And we want to work up to, but not into, any glades initially. I like starting, as you know by now, with getting a nice amount of space around my hearth and around my main storage to work with. And this way, once all this is carved out, it's very easy to then grab any glades that we need to. And with all of them being dangerous, I don't have to avoid any. So we can just expand in all directions, whatever is most convenient at the time. Alright, so let's go ahead and start some time, yeah? Now, one thing that was recently suggested was a no-pause run, and frankly, I'm not going to do it. The no-pause modifier that you can get is basically the one map modifier I refuse to play around with. I've played on it a couple of times. I can beat it. It's just so much more stressful that I don't find it fun. Because being able to pause and carefully consider my choices is a large part of my playstyle, and while I can do it, I don't think it adds to the game not being able to. Oh, now this is tempting because all of these are great, but I feel like I want a small farm. The rain mill's not good unless I have a small farm originally, so no. The tavern is good because it lets me upgrade my hubs to tier 3 from the very beginning, but it does require a little bit of effort to get set up, and the trapper's camp is only good once I know I'm going to have meat supplies. And you could say the same thing about the small farm, but there's pretty consistently farmland for us to use. Now, now this is another tough call. Beavers are good with wood, and their houses require only wood. Hashtag housing for beavers. Which makes the lumber mill very, very tempting. Brickyard, of course, also a good option for getting another basic building material. But if I want to set up tool production on the Royal Woodlands, the Forester's Hut is unbeatable. Like, there's no other way to do it. But the problem is, I've already got one Fertile Grounds building, and this would commit me to have two. Which makes it a much later before I'd be able to set this up. But I'm going to go for it anyway. And now here, the grill doesn't do anything I want it to. The stamping mill, however, lets us get 2-star flour and guarantees that we'd have some synergy with the small farm. The brickyard, of course, giving bricks is always nice, but we don't need the crystallized dew, and I probably don't need the pottery. I'm going to get the stamping mill here. So we're going to commit to a farming build and hope that we get the farming that we need. Free oil when we produce flour is very nice. The ancient tablet for completed glade events isn't that great on this map. It's huge on the Scarlet Orchard, as you saw last time, but it's not great here. Free amber for ale requires me to be making ale, which I might not be doing for a while. And 50% to goods produced on the small farm lets me get away with a smaller number of farms. This is what I think I'm going to go with. We're just going to go all in on farming and hope it works. Farm, and just stuff that we grow on the farm? Sure. Let's just lean into the farm all the way. Stonecutters and Harvesters camp, plus 10 bricks to get 3 parts. That's really, really good. Because I'm going to build the camps eventually anyway. 5 tools for 10 of every building material doesn't seem worth it, because frankly, it's harder to get tools than it is to get building materials. I'm not going to do this because I don't like calling traders early. I know it can be a very decent boost, especially if you're willing to fight the trader, but I don't want to pay the impatience cost, so we're not going to do this. And that just leaves clearing glades, which I always love, plus more parts, quite good. Alright, we have 4 loose workers and 4 loose working spots, so let's go ahead and start clearing everything in our starting area. Now I hope you're having a wonderful day. Not getting into any silly internet fights or reading the news. I largely stopped paying attention to the news in college when I took a class on journalism, and that class on journalism didn't teach me how to write journalistic articles. That was the goal, and it's not a hard style to do. What it taught me is that news organizations largely consist of a means of selling advertisements. And with that, it means that they need you to click. Like anything else on the internet, they need you to click. They need you to read. They need you to be present for the ads. Which means that, while they're ostensibly reporting true things, and I'm not saying they're not trying to report true things, they are going to try to report things either that are or can be phrased in a way that's going to keep your attention. Like memes. Or, horror stories. And what that means is that it's very hard to get at the facts of a matter rather than like a engagement bait style of information. So once I realized that the point of news organizations was primarily about getting me emotionally invested enough to be present for an ad, I stopped paying attention to them because I don't really like that kind of emotional manipulation. Anyone who is trying to make you feel is trying to get you to stop thinking. That's been my experience, and it's a bit jaded, but you know what? It served me so far. Now I'm mostly just talking nonsense here because honestly all we're doing is cutting trees. There's no real decisions yet, this is just set up. So we're going to be here for a bit. Go ahead and rotate that. Yeah, and the other problem with sensationalism is it makes it leads into the tendency to vilify people who disagree. And when that happens, people stop listening to each other. So it's much better to listen to people tell their own sides than to listen to the way their opponents talk about them. It just works better. Leads to a better world. Hey, someone showed up in chat. Greetings. Glad you're here. Okay, so we can get lizards or we can get harpies. Well, it's still early enough in the game that I don't really want the happiness penalty that comes from utilizing harpies. Okay, now since we know we're going to get harpies, the worker safety guide is good, because that's 2 species that both get this global production speed. That would definitely work. I love getting free barrels out of planks. Just getting a free secondary resource is wonderful. And also protected trade. This can scale ridiculously, and like we saw it do on the Scarlet Orchard. Though, really the Scarlet Orchard, it was ancient tablets. But this can scale ridiculously to keep hostility down. And keeping hostility down is better than pretty much any other early game strategy. Like, if you get that early enough, you can outscale the hostility of the forest once you get into farming. You ever stop picking up new people? No, I tend to feel bad for my fictional villagers if I'm rejecting them. So I will always take them. The most I do there is put it off until the storm passes. If I've got a particularly nasty forest mystery that's about to happen. But I always accept the new villagers. It's just a question of when. Okay, now we're not going to make pipes. The devs have talked about how the upgraded pipe system is going to see an overhaul like a week from today when I'm filming this, when I'm recording this. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a lot more useful, a lot more consistent with the next update. The trade hostility thing is pretty useless in the beginning since you hardly ever have enough for it. It pays off pretty quick if things are going decent, though. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, early game's a great time to do some of those, like, just one unit for one cost that doesn't really get you much amber, but it does get you standing. Both of these have +3 lizard happiness for the rest of the game, but this one has parts, and I'd rather have parts. Oh, burning blight rot cysts means I have to generate blight rot cysts, but water delivery means I have to be producing drizzle water, and that makes this more specific than this, so this is overall easier. I've decided to stop getting new people when I get 2 tier 3 hearths unless I'm cruising. Nah, fam, just keep going. Drop down another heart, get that triple tier 3 hearth going, so you got your plus 30% chance for double production. I mean, I understand what you're doing. It's not like it doesn't work. It's a viable strategy. I want to pack in more people. I want to be an open and inclusive society. Let's go ahead and make that stonecutter's camp, even though I can't use it. We're just doing this for the queen. Things get too dicey? Nah. You just gotta learn how how to surf that. Let's see here. So obviously we're going to turn this in. I know some people like to wait on turning in their orders until they're super high up on impatience, but I don't know. I like to play this like I like to role play like an actual viceroy who cares about the queen's opinion. Okay, so I think we already have, we already have the ability to make 2-star flour. So the provisioner just adds provisions, which is nice. It adds barrels too, but let's be honest, I'm never going to make barrels. It's nice, but it's not worth it. The tinctuary would only give us ale for ale for beavers and wine for beavers, because we know harpies are going to be our third race. Pigment can be used by beavers and harpies, but I don't think this is worth. Forager's camp could be good, but I'm going to get the lumber mill just so I get a building that builds building materials. One of my previous villagers were starving for 90% of it. The 10% was from the initial early game food. Wow. Could never get food under control and had to get a wealth effect to finish. That's rough. Those games certainly happen, and that is rough. Let's go ahead and make our lumber mill. I think I'm going to go with my classic setup of... we will do space for 2 3-3 buildings behind our main storage. Let's go ahead and just get a little bit closer to that glade. I think this is the glade we're going to open next year. Don't make any planks here. There's no reason. It was also the first mission I did with the timed missions. I think I'm in love. So satisfying. Timed missions can be a mixed bag. They seem to be something where you have to immediately put your entire town on focusing down that timed mission. When they come out, though, they are great when you can get them to work. But when you don't, they're really disappointing because it's usually off by like 20 seconds. And then you've just lost one of the ways of getting... I wouldn't say it's free reputation, but it's one of the easiest ways to get reputation. Okay, I don't want to be dealing with Storm level 2, so let's do this. And that might not even be enough. Nope, barely enough. Okay, let's go ahead and put 2 beavers in the lumber mill making planks. Haven't missed one yet, but it's disappointing to have to choose a different order because it's impossible to do. Yeah. Timed orders can definitely... I've picked ones that I thought I could do, and then I turned out I miscalculated something or accidentally sold something via a trade route. It can be bad. Okay, so... let's go ahead and start opening up more resources. If you're just joining us, we picked a map that has only dangerous glades in it. Let's continue to avoid harpies. I'm still not ready to deal with their moodiness. Grain getting multiplied by grain is huge, given how much I've already pre-committed to doing a farming strategy here. Okay. Resin, excellent. It's free. Ancient tablets... Opening caches gives us a wealth effect in copper bars. I think I can justify this. Let's go ahead and do it. While working it, we just get hostility. That's fine. Now what we're going to do is just this. Gonna open up that line. There we go. And now these guys, I'm gonna shift back up here. We're gonna rotate this around like this Just so we can get a couple of them. Danger glades only sound fun. Is there any way to disable a running perk, by the way? No. No, once you've got a perk, the perk's going. Huh. That's large, so we can't do that, but we can definitely get this meat. Oh, there is a patch for smaller bliss camp. Yeah, we can get this. Shouldn't run out of food in the near future. Wine and a guild house. Or 20 luxury goods. I'm not a huge fan of luxury goods, so let's go with wine and a guild house. And 15 aesthetics is much better. I don't like the ones that say you have to rely on using a specific. Is there any way to running out of food? Yeah, we're not gonna run out of food. We've got patches here, back here, and over here, and we've got a bunch of farm perks once we find some farmland. Go ahead and drop a couple of lizards in there. There we go. Don't have the stuff to make any more bricks. Do I still have... Yes. Yes, I do. Gonna get that third woodcutting camp early. Dang, you answered that super seriously. Yeah, I will say that I do have mild autism, and so if I can read something as just a straightforward question, I treat it as such. Because I don't, unless I'm expecting a joke, I don't know something's a joke most of the time. I can pick it up when I can look at people's faces, but on the internet, it's no hope. I worked in a call center for a decade, and there were a couple of jokes that people made repeatedly about investing, but once I realized they were jokes, I came up with responses I'd use every time, and whenever anyone told me a joke I heard before, it was awkward. It was an awkward 30 seconds. Like, that's just how that goes with mild autism. Just don't always know how to parse things. Oh, nope. We need one more. Get out. There we go. Now we're down to hostility 1. Most people have houses, and I haven't even made my comforting walls yet. What are we doing? Made it much funnier? I'm glad you liked it. Yeah, the key seems to be laughing with people at my foibles. And we've all got them, right? One thing that I found has really made me a lot happier in life was the realization that my strengths and my weaknesses are usually the same trait, just manifesting in different ways. Like, if you've ever met someone who's perfectionistic, they can produce really high quality work, right? But it'll also slow them down, and in some cases it'll hold them back from doing things that they don't think they can do perfectly. I had an ex who, if she wasn't confident in what she was able to do something, wouldn't even attempt it, which held her back in a few ways. But the things that she did consistently came out really, really good. Usually when someone adds an emote, it means they're joking. Well, in that case, I can't take anything you say seriously, because you seem to do nothing but emotes. And that's so different, because I use emotes to signify actual facial expressions in the absence of actual facial expressions. Okay, you're there. Gain a reputation every time you sell. +1 resolve and 10% move speed. More goods in glades. Faster production, but no trading. Definitely not deserted caravans. Trading is too good. Yeah, I don't even know which emote is the Kappa emote, chat. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and go Trade Hub, which does make the game too easy, but that's how this goes. And let's see. Okay, I finally have to accept some harpies. Fine. But I think we'll do it like this. And we'll grab some harpy houses. Now we'll put a bush around these happy harpy houses. There we go. I see the wall construction continues. Yeah, I just love walls. They're my favorite of the aesthetics buildings. I don't know why I love them, but I do them basically every game. Like, it's always. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get termites, which are going to give us non-stop source of food for the rest of the game, though people are going to be super unhappy while it's happening. And we can also get ourselves a small farm, which is good given how many cornerstones I've devoted to farms already. We are out of parts. We do have some roots over here we can pick up. We're doing fine on fuel. Let's set a cap of 100 planks. I don't think I need more than that. The walls now have foliage. Well, I mean, you need... So to get a tier 3, right, you need 16 of this type of building. For me, that's almost exclusively walls. You need 8 basically plants, and then you need 4 harmony buildings, which for me is usually lizard towers. Though with how often you can get harmony buildings by reconstructing stuff you find out in the wild, it's that a lot of the time too. You're going to keep going, but this one I'm going to fire my beavers from. Oh, it's not enough. Okay. How about now? That'll help. And then the harpy housing raises the harpies instantly. Lizards are unhappy. Now the gates can have paths. What other wall upgrades are worth considering? Vines, maybe? Paths on the walls? Oh, being able to walk across the top of the walls would be a real Jericho situation. Actually, maybe I should cool it with the biblical references. I don't know if everyone grew up steeped in religion like I did. But the idea was that the city had such epic walls that they could hold chariot races on top of the wall, which is ludicrous, and I don't, from what I understand from the documentaries I've seen on the archaeological site, not actually possible. But it's a really good kind of epic tale of a city with walls so thick you can have chariot races on the wall. And we're not talking like GTA wall riding. Now we're talking like on the flat top at the top of the wall. It's just a bit of silliness. Now that our lizards are happy, we can ignore them for a while. We are now running out of food, but this should help, this should help, this should help, and this should help. So I'm not too concerned about it long term. And of course, we've got our small farm now, with its 50% bonus increase and its, you know, more wheat, the more wheat we grow. As soon as you hit 5, and nope, turn off. There we go. We're back to that. I'm more inclined to the fire pits. They're just easier to generically place in random spots without needing to pre-plan. That's fair. The fire pits do also look kind of cool. Yeah, that reference went right over my head. That does sound pretty cool. Probably the closest to be a wide mountain path through the mountains are natural walls to a settlement. Yes. Yes. Though what's really fun about ancient cities is how often that they're built on the ruins of themselves. When they would get sacked and destroyed and burned down, and the inhabitants would have to leave, and the place would fall into disrepair, And then a while later, other people would move into the area and be like, hey, look, we've got a decent vantage point for a city, and it's raised. It's already on a hill. So why don't we just settle here and claim this spot again? It's really great how many cities are built on themselves. It's like I don't know if my chat are the kind of people who read the Discworld novels by Terry Pratchett. May he... I'll come up with a better benediction later. He's passed away, but the city of Ankh-Morpork, the main city of the Discworld, is basically built on Ankh-Morpork. So when dwarves come to town, they're able to just kick holes in the walls of basements and make an underground tunnel system and pump out the mud. Discworld books were amazing, right? I think I'm missing about 4 of the Discworld books from my collection. I've got so many of them. Okay. Not enough. Okay. How do I lower hostility? I could do some burning. I've got enough wood. I don't want to do any burning. Oh, but we're out of mushrooms. So let's go ahead and delete this. I mean, we're not out of mushrooms. These mushrooms are too big, which is weird. I understand why they did it from a balance perspective, but it's weird that those mushrooms are too big. Okay, so I think what we're going to do next is this one. And when harpies get half sad, just a little more, there we go. We'll make them happy again. The Queen is so mad because I've been ignoring her orders for a while now. As a fellow British person, a lot of the subtle references were brilliant. Managed to fit so much in shorter novels compared to the usual 8... Yeah. I think what happened with that is Terry Pratchett was really good at describing characters in a way where you basically understood the character from very little context. Like when he describes Captain Carrot as being straightforward and people he describes him as honest and simple, and people would equate that with stupid, but he was certainly not. He was just, very straightforward. And by having that simple description, we know what this guy's about. Like, he's going to be honest, and he's going to catch people by surprise by being smarter than they think when they write him off for being honest all the time, because people often think honest people are dumb. Okay, I'm not going to bank on my villagers dying. I'm not going to do it. Nothing can make me do it. I'm not going to have more people come every year. As much as I love getting to 60-person towns, I don't want an 80-person town. Gaining pigment when we produce insects. This does not work off of the insects we're getting for free. So I'm going to go with the prayer book. Hey, we got a first-time chat person in chat. Welcome to the stream. A lot of the subtle references were brilliant. Yeah, I catch quite a few of them because I grew up on British authors and, try to consume some British media. I gotta say, the BBC is great at putting out good storylines on like a string budget. Really good at that. But, yeah, I don't catch all of them because not British. I grew up in the middle of America. In the big flat part that used to be, icebergs. Not bergs, glaciers. That's what we're talking about. That same ex who studied, basically her day job is studying ancient climates, and so I learned a lot about glaciers. Oh, -8 global resolve is a mess, and I don't want to do it, but I really don't want to lose potential caches, and I don't want 5 people. This is just bad all around. Came from the YouTube VODs, learning lots. Hey, welcome to have you. Glad you're here. Chat's a lot quieter. Like I know I get it always weird. Like it's so weird to me that I get a couple hundred views on a video because like those don't feel real. Like one or two people will comment, and there's some people that show up in chat. Like if you look through the history, you can see one guy's talking a lot. Very good. Very makes it a lot more fun for me when someone's talking. Oh wow, I'm still happy burning. Okay. How do we deal with this? Because I can't really afford to be happy burning. Okay. Gotta concentrate for a moment. But it's so weird to me that I get hundreds of views over there, and it feels while I'm streaming like I'm, you know, like there's not a lot of people. It's just a really different vibe. Okay. I think we can play Pong enough. Don't really have much to say after watching the videos, it's true. Understandable. Lots of bots used on comments for YouTube and Twitch. Well, here's the thing. The comments I'm only getting a couple of comments per video. I don't think I'm big enough to attract the bots yet. I mean, a few of them have shown up in the Twitch chat trying to sell me engagement, which I'm not going to do. So I get a couple of comments, and I'm getting so few that I'm able to respond to most, if not all of them. Catching it live is much better. Yes, bots are really bad. They are. Don't want to use that. Okay, so I've got how much housing? We've got 3. We've got 100 planks, so I'm gonna fire these guys. We can definitely put people back in here. We need more lizard houses. Okay, so if we've got 3 plus 6 plus 2, that is 11, which is 22, which means I really only want one more house for this hearth. And we need to be thinking about where to put our next one. There looks great, but these trees are in the way. And you know, I think if I just bite the bullet... Where did that... I should look up the origin of that phrase. Bite the bullet. Where'd that come from? You need to add more tags and promote the Twitch more often through the YouTube VOD. Interesting. I didn't know that was a thing, and I just lost a lizard, so that's sad. There we go. Okay. So we're dealing with the unhappiness. Everyone's here. We've got a minute left. Yeah, see, one thing that I've learned is that the best way to figure out how to do something is to start doing it, and do it poorly. Just do it poorly. Just commit to the fact that you're going to do it poorly, and keep going. Because people will helpfully tell you things about how to do it better. And if you look into it at all, you'll slowly gain more skills. It's just a really interesting life lesson to learn that, like, doing something poorly is really, really empowering. You just gotta jump in and do it. At some point, you do need to establish competence. Like, at some point, you do need to get better. You can't just do everything on enthusiasm perpetually, but enthusiasm can get you quite a decent way. Find these okay, let's see here. That lizard wasn't a viewer anyway, Kappa. Nice. Adding more tags to the Twitch stream grabs more people because people look up tags. Okay. I find these kinds of videos are pretty good for playing in the background when playing the game itself, as long as the person is descriptive enough. I have no idea what happens in most of the video when I do that, though. That's fair. I mean, I'll be honest, there's a lot of times where I will play games like this while listening to... I don't know if they're documentaries. I don't know why I'm having trouble saying that word today. I don't usually. But like video essays, I will a lot of times listen to video essays while playing games like this. You know, just to hear someone talk about, civil rights movements or history of the world or, um, any kind of science stuff, like what's going on with the James Webb Space Telescope. Um, because it's great when you get to hear. I just love hearing people geek out about the things that they really care about. It's so much fun. Because when someone cares a lot about a thing, they're usually entertaining to listen to, and you can get deep into the why is this thing interesting? Why do people like this? The only one I really look up is the language ones if there are too many in languages I don't know, which is anything other than English. Yeah. I'm trying to shake the dust off my Spanish. I was dang near fluent in high school, but then when I tried studying Spanish in college, it turned out that the later classes were reading in Spanish, and the problem is I love reading. And part of what I love about reading is the way I get lost in the world of whatever I'm reading. Like, I'm not even noticing the words anymore. I'm just full on in the pictures of whatever's being described by an author. And when I'm doing that in a foreign language, my comprehension's not fast enough to do that. So I had to piece together what was going on by reading and rereading words, and it just took all the joy out of it. And at the time, I didn't have the mental discipline to keep going. So I failed out of a Spanish major. And that was really, really good for me. Because as a person who understood high school like innately and wrapped a lot of my self-image in this idea of being a good student, learning that I could fail and that it could be okay was just a really important part of my development, that like I was still okay at the end of it. There are people who look up common interests to learn or share common opinions on Twitch streams. Interesting. That's an... Okay. I'm going to have to look more into the tagging system. Somehow I blundered through it enough that they're willing to let me be an affiliate. Not that I'm making any money yet, but that's okay. I would love to fulfill the needs for biscuits and pie. This would be great. I don't know if I'll be able to. And I don't want to commit to 18 harpies, so we're going to hope we can get this. Okay, we are having massive food issues, and everybody's unhappy. Sounds like a normal run. Okay, we're down to hostility 2. Let's take a look here. We need beaver and lizard. We'll burn one. We'll burn another one. This should lower hostility, though. So for this stream tags, I would add coaching, commentary, and competitive, and then the streamer's interests. I don't know if it's competitive. I'll have to look up what those mean, but you know what? I will take note of what you're saying. Also, TikTok, that can boost content like crazy. Okay. Very true. You don't want to start something controversial. That's definitely true. Though I did come in starting the video by just talking about how the journalism class I took in college is what convinced me not to pay attention to the news. So maybe controversial is gonna happen anyway. Just because I'm not paying attention and I'm spouting views. But I don't think they're too bad. I think I'm coming from a place of trying to promote harmony by not paying attention to the news, as opposed to not paying attention to the news because they're lying to you. I don't think that's the case at all. I think it's I think the problem's incentives, honestly. Something generic like English is probably fine, where something like coaching may turn off others. It's true. Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying chatting is fine, but tagging is going to give people, like, it's going to be like a brand type thing, where people who are interested in that will show up specifically for that, and then I'll be locked into it, and also... I gotcha. I gotcha. That's the other great thing about the internet. Like, you can just tell people what you're doing, and a lot of times it's easy to get people to be on board or to want to support you. Okay. 7 artifacts for every 2 completed dangerous and forbidden glade events. This is huge. I don't like having... The way I like structuring my towns, I don't like having bonus housing show up. Having people show faster, I'm having food issues, so no. Chance of bringing back twice as many goods from events increased by 20% is nice. I'm going to go with the free artifacts, because assuming I can win, those free artifacts are going to be good long term. We have 2 farms going. This farm, though, is going to just do vegetables. And... Stop happy burning. What do we have? Okay. And the reason I don't like having shelters like this is then I can't always tell who needs housing. Okay, we need another beaver and another lizard house. So let's go ahead and alternate these. A nice inclusive town. Integrating housing areas. For some reason, I feel like this crowd you'd attract from TikTok is almost the opposite of people who play ATS. Probably true. Probably true. Think of it this way. Competitive, yes, you were going from tutorial to the hardest difficulty and resetting. Yeah. Came from being top 1.1% in Rainbow Six Siege. Complete change of game. Wow. Top 0.1%? That sounds impressive. I don't know how many people play that. But for it to have a top 0.1%, you've got to have, what, at least 100,000, 10,000 people? And, of course, anything that gets as big as recognizing the name probably has more than that. Let's go ahead and toss some lizards in here. It's going to make all of my gatherers really sad. I hate this. But you know what's great? Housing goes up, right? And I think that's going to be 8 people, which means this area can get a nice comforting wall. Look at that. Oh, I might have to reposition my other wall to go along here so I can have a contiguous wall for both. Look at me over here getting just really happy about walls. How are we coming on this area? I need to put a warehouse down here. We need to lower hostility. Wow. That didn't do it. That didn't do it because people are hungry. You know what I keep forgetting to do? It's so obvious in hindsight, but I keep forgetting to do it. Do-de-do-de-do-de-do. We need a trading post. Uh-huh. Is there anything else I can do? Well, I could do that. Then I can do this. Which will get beavers slightly up there. And then we can do this. Which will get the lizards going. It's like how a title of a book may discuss you like 10 ways to eat insects, whereas a book named Alternative Diets explaining ways to cook insects is less of a turn off. That's true. A couple million players played it over 7 years. Okay. I'll be honest, I can't handle FPSs. I get very turned around, and I can't navigate in them. FPS games have gotten dry and not fun. Yeah, I mean, the only FPS game I ever liked was Portal, and that's hardly FPS. And I couldn't beat the boss because I'm just not... I don't have the right reflexes for it. I did think it'd be fun to have a Portal-style versus game. Oh, come on. Don't do this to me, beavers. I gotta be like that. If you have, could you even make a ATS stuff for TikTok? I don't think so. It could grow awareness of the game, but the game is going, like, it's still in early access, so I don't know if we want that yet. I feel like we're gonna want more once we get into full release in June. There is a Portal versus game. It's called Splitgate. Cool. I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought of that. That's cool. Get a better foragers camp. What else can we do? We can sell this. We can get rid of that. We can sell all of this, and we can buy just so much food. Oh. Oh, wow. Okay. Do that. Okay. And that'll let us turn in this order, which I don't think I want to do yet. I want to wait until my people are kind of happy, because right now they're starving. Right now they're starving, and that is bad. Starving is bad. You heard it here first. I lost another woodcutter. No. Let's see, what else can we do? We can get a makeshift post. Yeah, tips and tricks, short 20-second videos. I don't even have a TikTok account, honestly. And if I was going to start one, it would probably be more along the lines of subtle cues that the person you're talking to is joking. Because I haven't gotten it published because it's hard to get a book agent. But I wrote a book about my my journey as a high-functioning autistic, and my basically everything I've learned over the last 20 years about how to have good relationships with people from the ground up. Because, like, when you don't naturally have what's called affective empathy, the kind where you can feel other people's feelings, you have to think your way through it, right? You have to develop what's called cognitive empathy, a mental model of how other things work, which I thought would be helpful, but I haven't been able to get someone to pick it up yet. Let's go ahead and turn this in. News on development, that would work. Hit prestige where your goods are worth pennies. Yeah. How many videos of that could you even make? Like 10? I don't know. I really don't know. It does seem like the kind of well that would dry up. Let's go ahead and get as many woodcutters as possible for the rest of this year. Everyone's housed. Is anyone using my shelters? Yes. Which means I need another lizard house. Oh, I rotated it that way? That's awkward. Okay, well, I guess we can put a lizard house here. And we should put 2 beavers in here. And let's put a couple of harpies in here. And tell them to make packs of building materials out of all of our planks. We needed how many? 5? Let's get those. Everything dries up, but getting the head start can lead to something else. That's a good point. That is a very good point. Ooh, yes. Yes. With how much I've taken bonuses for farming, especially wheat, the ranch is going to be amazing here. On top of that, it's a meat building, which means lizards are going to get bonuses to working it. Oh, that's going to solve all of our food problems so fast. Toss a couple lizards in here. We're going to change this to use both of the other 2 to make leather. We're going to make meat out of grain. We're going to make eggs out of grain. And we're going to change this to only make fabric out of leather. Just leather, thank you. Let's go up here and get rid of that. Now, honestly, the biggest problem is space. Like, I'm feeling kind of cramped in here. I'm not sure those big enough, frequent enough to keep a channel live on only Against the Storm for something like TikTok. Yeah, sacrificing quality for quantity would probably work out more often. But you don't have to sacrifice quality. Yeah, okay. Well, chat's having a debate over whether one can feasibly do ATS content on TikTok. And honestly, I don't know enough to jump in. Okay, so we had a question earlier. Do I ever not take villagers? And I said that sometimes I won't take one during until the storm's passed. So I am gonna wait. Oh, did they go away? Oh, did they just get pushed off until the next storm? Okay, that's... Maybe they changed how that worked. I thought it was just like a set amount of minutes and then wait around. But I guess not. Okay. Okay, we're down to hostility 3. And I think we can burn 114 over the next minute. Or 2 minutes. Should work nicely. Foragers Camp. Did we already get an upgraded Foragers Camp? It's right here. It's not doing anything. Harpies are unhappy. Let's go ahead and fix that. And let's make packs of provisions out of, I think, eggs? Not crops. There we go. Eggs. Yeah. Oh, we've got herbs. No, let's do herbs. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. And we want how many? 8, I think? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And let's stop making packs of building materials. We need 6 more aesthetics. So let's go ahead and make those aesthetics. You need to keep a certain amount of quality, but if you don't have enough, then you need supreme quality to... Yeah. Another game would be ideal. Yeah. I mean, I think part of what's working for me about Against the Storm is that it is still in early access. And while there are other people who make videos about it, it's early enough that there's not like a massive community, right? Like, for a game like, for example, Mario Maker, it's been out for several years, and there are a lot of people already in that space. But I don't think there's a lot of people in Against the Storm right now. I think there's like 3 or 4, so it's much easier to get seen. For now. Like, you do both at the same time, you have to find that game first. Yeah. Okay, well, let's go ahead and rehire our woodcutters first. And we have been going hard on expansion for several years. Oh, hey, you know what? We're at an hour in. It's the start of year 7. And you know, that means that we are at the halfway point, even though the queen is mad. Let's go ahead and just do a couple of basic things. Now, we're going to set up our workers. And I really wish... You know what? I'm going to not mark these. And I'm going to move this way. Yeah, let's go ahead and set this up. We're going to turn in our orders. Get 4 more people. We need 2 more aesthetics still. Are we not building those? No, I only said 4, so let's get 2 more. Nope, not that. 2 more. That's going to finish that, and then we've got this, and we still need to set up that. But, for those of you watching on YouTube, this is just the first half. I appreciate you sticking with me for a full hour, and as you can see, I talk a lot to chat when they're here. So you are welcome to join me on twitch.tv/DreadCanary on Monday and Thursday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. If you like what I'm doing, I would love it if you showed that you liked what I'm doing in all those wonderful YouTubey ways that you're already familiar with from hundreds of other videos. And I would just appreciate if you would do that for me as well. But you know what? Either way, I'm glad you were here. I hope you have yourselves a great day, and I would love to see you in the next one. Bye now.